setting with Christian video coming up today. We actually have something a little bit special for today's video. We have one of our clients has messaged through and asked if they could have their ring set on the live, which is great. If we can grab it before it gets done and we have some time that we can do this kind of thing, more than happy to. Please send all of that through. So we have something that's a little bit special. I can't give away who it is, but they have this lovely Paige, sorry, not Daisy, Paige Solitaire here. It's a yellow gold band with a platinum setting, but we're putting this very, very nice pink lab diamond into it. Beautiful color, nice and deep. It's going to have really nice scintillation as well. Really excited about that one. Just trying to think if I have anything else for you guys. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, queries, anything like that, please put them in the comments and we can get to them as best as possible. And any requests for rings, for designs, for what you want to see tomorrow or next week or going forward, please put them through as well. So, as always, we're just going to open our claws up. We're going to see how this stone fits. Now, it is a coloured stone, meaning it is a little bit bigger on the bottom section. That's how we get the colour so nice. So we just want to see how it's going to sit in the setting and how we're going to drill out the inside to get it to drop down nicely. So I'm just going to open up these side sections just to give a bit more room for that stone to drop in. So at the moment it is sitting a little bit high, so we want to get that right down as low as possible. Now we'll just have a look and we'll just keep checking how our stone sits in the setting and where we're going to cut, where it needs to be. We'll see if I press down on it, we'll be able to see a little bit of bruising where the stone is touching, so we know that's where we need to cut out a bit more metal. Let me just find what else I have here. Where is it? Alright, keep that one, get one of these. So it's going to go with a slightly different size ball bearer at the moment as well. The first one I used was too big, so it is, we don't want to take out too much out of everywhere, just want to be a bit more specific as well. We have another question. Is that a platinum ring you're setting the stone into? It is a two-tone ring. It's platinum and yellow gold band with a platinum setting soldered on top. So now, two-tone with a ring is a great, little something you can do with your ring. You want to do something a little bit different. You're not sure what you like or you don't like. if you want it solid or not. You can always two-tone to just give a little bit of a contrast, which is great as well. Helps give you that little bit of extra scintillation, especially if you've got those platinum claws. You know, they're white colour, really colourless, which is great. Alright, what I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to play a bit of background music at the moment. Allow you guys some time to send some questions through, and then what we'll do is once I get some, we'll get the mic back on, answer some questions. In the meantime, I'm going to keep going and keep setting this lovely pink stone, and I will touch back with you guys really soon. Alrighty guys, so you can see I've got the stone in, we've cut our claws, we've got it sitting nice. Just have a look at that. Such a lovely peachy pink kind of colour. It's actually looks lovely like this. It's a little bit dirty because I put fingerprints and stuff all over it, but it's going to be really, really nice once we're finished, it's polished, and we get it in some sunlight. I think that pink is going to really glow nice and warm. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. And we may be able to post it online. I'm not sure. We'll need to speak to the client whose ring it is because there is some privacy stuff as well. But now I'm going to start to bend over some claw. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. Just going to finish cutting the inside of my claws, and then we're going to look to start bending them over and locking that stone in place. With a stone like this with such a thick, it's got a bit of a thick girdle as well, so just want to make sure we've got a nice opening here, that our stone is squeezed, our claw is squeezing top and bottom, and we make sure that when we bend that claw over, it's really nice and firm, with nice support over the top of course, but also underneath to get that tension while you're squeezing. You will notice I'm cutting a fair bit of metal out of these claws here. It's just making sure that they're still really thick, so I just want to make sure that when we push them over, I'm not met with too much resistance. I want a little bit of resistance to create the tension, but I want to make sure that the claws bend over and they sit nice and flush on the stone, because if they're a little bit thick, sometimes they're too hard, and when you try to hammer them down, they're just a bit springy. And they don't go down nice and flush. So that's how you end up with some catchy claws, and you know, they lift and get caught on stuff, and you know, we don't want that. That means they can lift off, our stone comes loose. So it's not definitely not ideal. Can happen anyway, even if you do everything right. So we just want to do everything we can to make sure it leaves here nice and flush sitting on the stone. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, so now that we've got that in, just before we set it, you guys know I like to give the inside of my setting a little quick polish. Not that you're going to see on the inside at all, but I just like to make sure everything is nice and clean and neat, and that mirror finish coming back at you. So when tilted on angles and we're looking at it, it's really, really nice and polished and reflective back at you. Just a little detail. There's little extra details that don't change what you see when you look at it like this, but when you look at it on angles and stuff like that, it keeps it nice and polished. Alrighty. So we'll move over this. You'll see I'm just lifting these claws back up a little bit, push a little bit too far down on one side, and it starts to tilt the stone too far. So we want to make sure that we're setting it straight as well. So we just push a little bit at a time. If you go a little bit too far, no big deal. You can always lift those claws up and push them, push the opposite side down and go again. Alrighty. So you can see that colour there is going to be super, super, super nice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the mic off again. I'm going to use our little, well, my little hammer handpiece here. And what that'll do is it will hammer down those claws to make sure they're nice and flat. We don't want them to lift off, like I said before. So what we do is we use this little tool and we're going to push down on the claws, and that'll just get them nice and flush on the stone. So you can do as much as you can by hand, but we just use this little hammer handpiece to hammer down. It is pretty loud, so I'll just turn the mic off. So bear with me, I'll hammer this down and then we'll shape them and get them polished. Alright guys, so I've hammered it over and you've seen that I've filed those claws as well. I'm just going to take a little bit off the top just so I can get that, that'll help me shape them. And then I'm going to go in with my engraver just to straighten up those sides and clean up. There's a little bit of excess metal you can see just hanging on. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. So we're going to use a nice sharp engraver here. Not that one, that one's chipped. Let's use this one. And you'll see we're just going to come nice and close and come from the back and just cut those little tags off. Those little hanging bits. So we've got nice flat clean sides, as you can see there. And that'll help us when we go to shape the claws right at the end and polish them up. This helps take away those file marks as well. So it just means we're doing less cleanup after. So we're just trying to help ourselves out and help get that nice mirror finish. Because I know that if you look down at your ring and you see all these polished file marks, not very pleasant at all. So these little steps all help to shape the claw, but also help to keep it at a standard that we want to deliver our jobs. Now we do need to be a little bit careful with this, my little engraving tool here. It's safe to use on the diamond, like I'm right up against it now, but still need to be a little bit careful that we're not pushing too hard, because if there is a possibility that we could chip the stone, so we just want to be mindful of that. Hammer that bit down a little bit. I also have a question here. How does someone get into this profession? That's a great question. Jewellery is a apprenticeship, similar to being a mechanic or any other trade. So you're able to do an apprenticeship as well. That's a 3 to 4 year apprenticeship with a certificate to get you there. You can also, I went to university, I did 3 years of a bachelor's degree at university in jewellery, so that's another way you can go about it as well, and then start to get some industry experience. But the follow-on question is, how long did it take you to become a jewellery maker? I did 3, like I said, I did 3 years at university and got my degree, and started working in my 3rd year. And yeah, this is my 7th year of jewellery, so we've come a long way in a short period of time, but it's still a lot of knowledge to go, and it does take a lot of time and a lot of patience and perseverance to become a jeweler and have as many skills under your belt as possible. And it's one of those professions where you're never going to learn everything. You have to be open that doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, there's always new things that you can learn. And it's a really good attitude to have, because there's always changes in trends that mean we have to adjust styles, processes. When there's a new technique, we like to share it around with each other. So need to be really open to that knowledge sharing, because it's such an old and broad industry. They were able to date jewellery back all the way back to the Egyptians. Which is many thousands of years ago. So there's a craft that's been developed all the way back then, without cameras, without microscopes, without everything, and they were making some unbelievable jewellery. So to say you can learn all of that in a 3-year apprenticeship is definitely not the case, but it's definitely a good starting point. Alright, now that I've cut our sides like this, there's one I just magically missed over here. We're going to go in with some little silicone cleanup, little show food discs. They help us get a nice mirror finish, similar to how we emery our ring. It's a little bit hard to try and emery these claws by hand. So what we'll do is use these little different wheels that I've got under here on my tray, and the different grits. So start off with this this brownish one that I'm going to show you. And that's a little bit coarser, which helps really take out the rest of those deep lines. For this, what I will do is I'm going to take it out of my engraving ball that holds everything nice and firm. You can see here I've got it in the engraving ball. So I'm going to take it out of that so that I can get all these angles of the facets right. Wow, claw facets. So you can see we're just working at making everything nice and smooth in a preliminary way. So you can see it's not super polished, it's not mirror, you can still see lines. And what we're going to do is we work down our grits to a finer grit wheel to get rid of all these marks until we get to a point where we can polish it, and the polish is enough to take out the marks that are there as well. Now this cleanup of the claws does take a bit of time, but it's super important. We're going to work really hard to get the stone in nice and flush and securely, but that takes time as well. But we also want to make sure that we spend all the time doing the cleanup and making sure we do all this prep work before it goes to polish, because we want it to look like a mirror. We want it to be like a beautiful liquid bit of metal that shines like a disco ball, which is great. So you can see now, by having a look, the sides still need a bit of a clean up as well, and so does the top, and a bit more shaping. But we will work through that with a few different discs. So I'm going to go over to one that's this black wheel. It's a little bit coarser, but what we're going to do now is shape the tops of our claws to give it that nice roundness, get rid of that flat spot as well. You can see all these marks down here, I want to get rid of them as well. With this nice coarse wheel, which really you can see shapes it really quickly, which is great, but it does mean that we have to go over it with a much finer wheel to take out these really deep marks. You can also see these claws got a lovely roundness to them, so you've got to be really careful with these wheels not to press too hard, because very quickly you can put flat spots, and it's, especially when it's meant to have nice curves to it, we don't want any dead spots or little flat tops on top or on the sides of it as well, or else it does look a little bit funny and it's not this nice smooth curve. You can follow all the way up from the base up on top of the claw. All right. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go in with a little fine wheel, and that's where we're going to start to get that really nice pre-polish start to come through. You can see there it's really, really reflective, really shiny. So it means when we go to polish it, it doesn't need, you know, to be pressed really hard, or you got to get it really hot. We just nice and lightly over the top. We're allowing our tools to do the work. We're not pushing to try and force them to cut away any more than they're supposed to. We have good morning from Sweden, good afternoon from Melbourne. It's great to have you joining us here. Thoughts on minimizing bow tie look on an overcut diamond? Some say it's impossible to do. It's all about the stone that you pick. Some ovals will have a bow tie, and that's how they are. But it's all about looking at this each one and having a look at it. Are you happy with it? Does it have a bow tie? Does it not have a bow tie? It's all got to do with the cut. But once the diamond is cut, there's not really too much you can do about it if it does have a bow tie, other than they may recut it, but that'll mean it gets smaller as well, so that they may not want to do that. But if you're looking to buy a oval diamond, you want to make sure you're looking out for it to make sure that your stone doesn't have it. Unless you really want it, that's a personal choice, but you want to make sure that it doesn't have that bow tie when you're looking at it, definitely from the top down, because it does get a little bit dark. But like I said, it's a personal choice, the kind of stone that you want to purchase. And if you don't want that bow tie look, you want to make sure that you have a chat with our consultants in our showrooms or on a virtual appointment before selecting anything, because they can help guide you to ovals that best suit your style and budget and that kind of thing, especially if you're looking for one without that bow tie look, which I know most people are as well. So I'm just going to give it this final touch over the top with this nice pre-polished wheel. And it almost looks like it's already been polished, which is great. Means we'll just give it a light dusting with our goat's hair brush. So, you see now we use our little blue compound here, which is great for our platinum. And I'll zoom in so you guys can see it really well. Just start to really give it that nice shine. So I'll go over with this one, and then I'm going to go over with a finishing one with which is our yellow compound. Give that nice shine, but you can see already starting to come through there. Alright, so you can see there, got this nice shine going on, but we're just going to give it a last little touch with a different brush. Just before we start to wrap up, I will answer A couple more questions that I have in front of me. That was very informative. Thank you. I'm a stone setter and jeweler myself, so seeing it done right is awesome. Thank you, Christian and the Cullens. Not a problem at all. Thank you for joining in. More than happy to help and share the knowledge where I can. I spent a lot of time watching other jewelers and diamond setters work as well. So it's really good when you can visually see what people are doing and try and see how you can use that in your own practice and methods. So it's great to have you here, and hopefully it's not the last time you join in too. But as you can see, guys, we've just got a bit of stray compound hanging around, but that's okay. That's going to come off in the ultrasonic. But there we have it. This beautiful 2 and a bit carat peachy pink lab diamond for our lovely client that's requested us to set it for us today on this live. Have a look at that. We will see if we can get some permission from them to post it on, to post it online once they're willing to share it as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I should be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. I'm not sure if we have another customer job to set, or I might pick something out of our stock jobs to show something a little bit special. As always, thanks again for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye.